Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I'm going to demonstrate for you guys some examples. I'm going to have like 6 exercises in the background, explaining kind of the difference between assistance work and accessory work. Now, obviously, your main exercises are the exercises you care about the most. If you compete in something, they're obviously your competitive lifts, so on and so forth. In my case, squat, bench, and deadlift. I'm a power lifter. Now, I tend to, because of that, tend to coach most of my clients, even my non-power lifters, based around those 3, but more geared towards whatever's going on with their specific needs. I do tend to use those as their base movements, though. Now, that being said, when we look at assistance versus accessory, we're usually trying to improve those main lifts to some extent, but we go about them through different pathways. You guys will see me doing benching and deadlift here, and then I'm going to show an assistance and an accessory for each one throughout the video, just to give you guys an idea. Assistance exercises can also be accessories, right? They can be. They just may not always be good accessories. But an assistance movement is an exercise that has movement pattern carryover. In other words, you are using it to potentially improve a weak link. So an example of what you're seeing me doing in this video, I'll be doing some incline benching, right? You saw me doing some rep work with 225 at a 45 degree with a pause. So how's this help? Well, it's a big press. Okay, it's similar to the bench press in the fact that we're pausing on the chest, full range of motion, uses a barbell. Now, a lot of times partials, board presses, floor presses, things like that are good here. So what is the incline good for? It's good for, in my opinion, people who stick right off the chest. And I don't mean immediately off the chest, but maybe midway. Anywhere between about 1/4 of the way to halfway up. If you tend to stick and slow right there on the bench, the incline is a phenomenal exercise, and it's because it strengthens the delts and it helps kind of with that transition point, because for a lot of us, that's where we transition the bar slightly towards our face, even though we don't want it to go all the way over the face. That's where we transition it. Okay, and the incline, because of the angles involved, right, you're already pushing at that upward angle. It's also strengthening the front delts, and right around that area, oftentimes front delts can become a problem. So the incline bench is a direct movement pattern carryover, okay? Because it's also, again, part of that transition on a big bench press. On a max bench, there is a transition slightly towards the face. The incline, again, helps right at that transition point. It also does happen to build muscle. Okay? Because an accessory movement is one that we do without concern for movement pattern carryover, just to get bigger, right? It's a hypertrophy exercise. All right, you guys also saw me deadlifting, and you'll see me doing good mornings with a safety squat bar. Hey, good morning, direct movement pattern carryover to the squat and the conventional deadlift. All right, where's the good morning help? Look at that low angle that happens when we hit the bottom. It's right there, very similar to very low on our deadlift. Very similar to being low off the deadlift. I find the good morning is a very valuable exercise for people who are slow off the floor on a deadlift. It's also an all-around squat improver. Okay. Let's not just talk about weak points, talk about the squat in general. Yeah, usually anyone who fails midway or more on the squat, the good morning, is an absolute monster for making this weak point completely go away, just completely disappearing. You will never see people who are strong at good mornings miss a squat midway. You will never see them miss a lockout. It will not happen. And I've said strong at good mornings. I don't mean, oh, you can good morning 400 pounds for 1 rep. I'm talking strong. Okay? It won't happen. They will not miss up there. They're going to miss right out of the bottom. They're going to miss 2-3 inches above parallel at the highest. All right. Direct movement pattern carryover. But does it build all those muscles? Yes. But then you'll also see me in here demonstrating the glute ham raise. Glute ham raise. Assistance. Well, accessory, I mean. The skull crusher, you see me doing accessory. Okay? It's not to say these others don't build muscle. They do. But what are we doing with these others? What is our goal? Glute ham raise. It's a major hamstring builder. Yes, it works the erectors. Yes, it works the glutes. But hamstrings, I would argue it's possibly the king of hamstring exercises. It works the hamstring through multiple angles. Works all three heads of the hamstring very effectively. Deadlift only works two effectively. So it's not chasing exact movement pattern carryover. It's not even chasing full hypertrophy carryover because it's working some things that don't get worked on the deadlift and the hamstring. It will build big hamstrings. Big hamstrings will, of course, carry over to the deadlift. But you see, we're only doing that through hypertrophy. But we're also addressing something being missed. Okay? And it's not training a direct movement pattern carryover. Therefore, it's accessory. It's just to get bigger. Skull crushers, same thing. There's no movement pattern carryover. Just because your elbow bends, it's not really movement pattern because it's really a single joint movement. All right, skull crusher though, laying extension to the face, works all three heads of the tricep extremely effectively. Bench press for reps only works two of the tricep heads extremely effectively. And notice I say extremely, doesn't mean there isn't work, that doesn't mean there isn't growth, doesn't mean there isn't hypertrophy. Right, the long head is still going to grow from benching. Not as much as it will from a skull crusher. Okay, so we're doing this to get bigger. And these are, again, a little more targeted exercises. So what do we have different here? So because people will say, but those muscles still get worked by the accessory. They do. But they get worked in a way that's closer to the bigger exercise. And then they're getting movement pattern. Right? Because of course the hamstrings get worked on the good morning. Of course the triceps got worked on the incline. But they didn't get worked as thoroughly. So these other exercises, when we're picking accessory movements like this, we're saying, hey, I want to build this muscle as big as possible. What is being missed? Can I find an exercise that works this muscle more thoroughly than my primary movements or even my assistance exercises? And these are perfect examples, the glute ham raise and the skull crusher. These are maximum hypertrophy movements. They're relatively low fatigue. They're just there to get you thicker, and they're there to do it in a very efficient and effective manner. So this is the difference between these sort of movements. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.